What is up, everyone? Barricade here, and today I'm going to be talking about Gears of War E-Day and what they would need to do to make sure that the multiplayer is something that will keep fans happy and essentially have great longevity. The problem with Gears 4 and Gears 5 is that it felt essentially lackluster and almost lazy when it came to a lot of things like the maps and stuff like that. So essentially it just felt like the game was dry and eventually got pretty boring pretty quick. You know, unfortunately Gears 4 and Gears 5 kind of just died out a lot sooner than compared to like the original trilogy. I remember playing Gears of War 3 with so many players, high player counts, years after the game came out. But with Gears 4 and Gears 5, unfortunately, I mean, people play it, but it's definitely not, you know, as loved as, you know, the original trilogy was when it came to its multiplayer. I find it kind of interesting how they had a huge competitive scene for it. They really were trying to drive that when it came to Gears 4 and Gears 5 with all these tournaments and everything. But they essentially put an end to that, and Gears of War tournaments and all that hasn't really been a thing as of late. Yeah, they might still have tournaments going on, but they're not really in the main scene of, you know, tournaments and things like that in esports. They kind of did away with it, and it's because, unfortunately, it didn't really have a high player count, and sadly, no one really cared too much about it. So I feel like Gears of War E-Day has the opportunity to essentially change that, to kind of bring fans back and essentially bring it back into a competitive scene, but also give it a lot of options for people that are essentially more casual, want to play social, and aren't also super, you know, competitive as well. Because the one thing that was really good about the original trilogy, at least with Gears 3, because Gears 3 was the one that I played like the most. I played it for years and years and years, and the thing I liked about it is it felt like a perfect balance of having really highly competitive players. You know, you can hop in ranked and play really competitively, or you can just hop in social and just kind of mess around and play by yourself and with random players, and it never really felt too crazy competitive. But when it came to like Gears 4 and Gears 5, at least for me personally, you know, you can just say get good or something, but it always felt like it was super sweaty. Like there were so many times where I'd play multiplayer matches and I would win most of my matches with my friends and stuff, but there were so many people, you know, always trying to Lancer and cross and things like that, which me and my team could do and we're able to do effectively and win matches and stuff. But I felt like with the whole competitive scene, it just kind of became too much of a thing where people started to become way too sweaty, take the game way too seriously. And I feel like that's what ultimately was the downfall of the multiplayer, because they would always make these competitive based maps that many players, more casual players, didn't really care too much about, and it kind of turned people off. So I feel like what they need to do with the multiplayer is start from the beginning again and essentially do it to where they're focusing more on the casual players, people that love the multiplayer, and kind of bring back maps and things like that that felt more similar to that of the original trilogy, and also bring back more content. So with today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 3 things that I think that the Coalition needs to do to make sure that fans are happy and have the multiplayer be an amazing hit with fans. So the first thing, which I believe might be the biggest thing when it comes to making sure Gears E-Day is a hit, is essentially to not require microtransactions. That was a really annoying thing with Gears 4 and Gears 5, that the transactions were essentially forced on us. With Gears 4, they introduced this weird pack system where essentially you would have to use actual in-game currency that you had to pay money for to open these packs when it came to a lot of these important characters that they were bringing in. Yeah, the game did have the coins that you would earn, and you could use those for packs, but the frustrating part was that when it came to the really cool packs, you know, like the Black Steel and things like that, you had to use actual money for it. And then the frustrating part that made it even worse is that when it came to these, it was more of a chance to get the character. It was like a gambling system where you would open the packs and you might get the character. And that was extremely frustrating. I'll admit I wasted some money on that, and I kind of wish I could get some money back for that or something, because that was just ridiculous. You know, I would buy a pack after pack after pack trying to get that one particular character, and then the pack would open and it would be the same characters I already got. And that was just ridiculous. How could they expect people to pay for this for not even a guarantee to get the character you want? That was a very frustrating thing, and it turned a lot of people off when it came to this game, because it just felt like a gambling system with the packs, and the fact that you pay for it and you don't even get what you want, ridiculous, extremely ridiculous. So that was the first thing that was annoying. And then when it came to Gears 5, Luckily, they learned from that and they did away with the pack system, but they still lock things behind iron. You had to get the iron and use that to buy things. And that was also frustrating because you just want to play the game, you just want to earn things, and that's what made Gears of War really fun when it came to like Gears 3, for example. You would play the game and you would just unlock characters based off either little challenges that the game would, ask you to complete, or maybe you beat a certain part of the campaign or something or whatever, and you would get the character. So it felt good to know that you got this character because you played the game, you liked the game, and you earned it. And with Gears 5 as well, it was just like, give us money. And that was the thing that was really frustrating with Gears 4 and Gears 5, is they really tried to focus on this, heavy competitive scene, and then they also, kind of give an excuse like, oh, well, we need money to kind of fund this, so, give us money, basically. And that was really, really annoying for a lot of fans that love this series, because Gears of War was never about the money before. It was just about having fun and playing with friends and playing multiplayer against people, and all that great stuff. And it became just essentially like this soulless, money-hungry thing. So I feel like when it comes to Gears of War E-Day, that when they bring this stuff in, they're obviously going to bring in skins. They're probably going to have weapon skins, character skins, all that stuff. But I feel like if they're going to have, these characters and things be added, if you want to get them, I feel like they could bring the coin system back if they want. But if they do decide to do it that way, to make it to where you can use the coins for anything. So essentially, like, if they have character packs that you can buy with money, okay, I understand that's going to happen. As much as I hate to admit this, guys, this is going to happen. They're going to lock things behind money. They're going to have character packs that, you have to pay, $10 for or whatever. But I would love it. I hope that they make it that you can earn it. And maybe with the ones you have to pay money for, maybe you have to give a lot of coins. Like, you have to pay a lot, play a lot of the game to pay a lot more coins, the in-game currency, to do it. That would at least make more sense if they're trying to make it like this premium item, But at least make it to where you're essentially going to do it to where you can earn it, no matter what. Make it to where you can earn it no matter what. Don't lock it behind just money. Make it to where, if you want to take the easy way out and pay money for it, give that option to players, because some players do that. They don't really want to play the game relentlessly, nonstop. They want to just get the skin or whatever. Fine. But at least make it to where the person who doesn't want to pay can earn it their own way as well. And then it'll kind of make it feel a little more better. I earned this by playing the game. I didn't just pay money for it, and they'll have a little bit more, I don't know, I guess pride is the word I'm looking for in terms of unlocking this type of character or skin or whatever. So once again, ultimately make microtransactions, if anything, remove them entirely, but that's a pipe dream, honestly, nowadays with how games work. So if they're going to have them in there, at least make it an option. Make it to where, give the player a chance to, just earn it. And if someone doesn't want to play that much, they could pay for it if they want to. But at the very least, make earning it an option. Don't just completely lock it behind paying for it. That would just be really annoying for a lot of people, and that's what really turned a lot of players off with the Gears 4 and Gears 5 multiplayer, because there are so many issues with just having to buy things instead of just earning them like the way you could in like Gears 2 and Gears 3. So that's the first thing. That's just the first thing. I kind of went on a rant there, which is the first thing. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is the maps. That was another thing that was really frustrating with Gears 4 and Gears 5. Because in the original trilogy, when a game Gears 1, Gears 2, Gears 3, they would always add these maps to the game that felt relevant to the story, and essentially kind of felt like you were battling Locust or Orcog or whatever side you were on these maps that felt really relevant to the story, or at least just looked really badass, right? And they always would make these maps and these multiplayer matches feel really unique, because there was a lot of maps where there was environmental things that would kill you, like with hail, the Razor Hail killing you, or I believe it's called Bullet Marsh with essentially with the krill and stuff like that. So it essentially felt cool to have these maps that could essentially kill you besides the players. And I felt like that's what made a lot of fans happy. It was something that was cool. It was something that was unique. Not many multiplayer games had that. So it felt really cool to essentially have the opportunity to fight someone, or maybe even die by something that the map does. It was never really frustrating, at least for me it wasn't. So I don't know. That's just personally my opinion. That's one thing I really loved about the maps. But with Gears 4 and Gears 5, they were so focused on making the maps multiplayer and like competitive based. that essentially they would essentially make maps that were from previous games that were fan favorites, which is cool to, yeah, bring some old maps back, but they rarely ever made new maps. That was the one thing that was really annoying. Gears 2, Gears 3 has so many maps you can play on, and a lot of them are unique to those specific games. Gears 4, Gears 5, mostly just maps from the old games, and maybe some new maps sprinkled in there from, like trying to make it more like Gears 4, Gears 5 maps. And then they would then reintroduce the same maps, and they would just be competitive versions of it. Like we had, I can't even remember the name right now. I don't even care to even remember the name right now. But I remember there was like in Gears 4 or maybe Gears 5, I forget. There was like a map, and then there was like a competitive version that was at night. Like, okay, it's at night, and then you have the version of Forge where essentially you had the normal Forge, and then you had Forge Blitz, was like a more smaller competitive version of it. And that was annoying because we would want new maps, and then we're just getting the same map again, just like a competitive version of it. And it was just really frustrating how they focus so much on just trying to make things competitive for all the tournament players and stuff. That's fine. I get that's something they want to focus on, but don't just do that. Don't alienate your players to where only the sweats are having fun. That was the thing that was just ridiculous. It just was so frustrating with Gears 4 and Gears 5 and how they did all these maps. I feel like Gears 5 was a little better. Like, it had more unique maps that were unique to those games, but overall most of the maps were like either from Gears 4 or the original trilogy. So just really annoying. So I feel like with Gears E-Day, we need to get maps. Yeah, we could bring back some old school maps. It's gonna happen, right? But don't oversaturate it with old maps. Bring in new maps. Make new maps that are unique to the game and flow with the multiplayer better. And try not to focus so much on just the competitive tournament players. We casual players like the multiplayer too. We like to versus each other. We like to earn things. And we're not always trying to sweat super crazy 24/7. So try to find a balance. Find a balance where the super competitive players are happy and the more casual players are happy. Don't just focus on the super competitive players, because that's what you guys did with Gears 4 and Gears 5, and that's why the multiplayer failed. So don't do that with Gears of War E-Day. Please, I beg you, don't do that. So that's the second thing I wanted to talk about with Gears of War E-Day and the potential multiplayer that I'm pretty sure we're going to get. Now, last thing I wanted to talk about, which I believe is also very important, is when it comes to the characters. The characters that are going to be in the multiplayer. So when it comes to that, Gears of War E-Day, I understand that it takes place before, any of the other games, right? Because it starts on E-Day. Load it with characters. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The multiplayer doesn't have to be canon. It's just multiplayer, right? So just add everybody. Add everybody from all the previous games. Make some new characters from the campaign. Make them in the multiplayer. But also add everybody. Add Ty. Add Kim. Add Kate from the new trilogy. Add Gabe Diaz. Add Anya, Dom. Well, Dom obviously is going to be there because he's in the campaign. But add like Sam and Sophia from Gears E-Day, just all these other characters and all these other Locust characters too. We're gonna have Rom, Scourge, Karn, Ukon, Uzul, Shrock, essentially, Keturf Vrol. There's so many characters. Just add them all. Just do it. I don't care how you do it. Just add all the characters. Make it to where we can unlock these characters in a way that doesn't require money. Like kind of coming back to the first thing there with the microtransactions. Maybe make challenges, make battle passes. I don't care. If you guys make battle passes like the way you did with, Gears 5, fine. But don't make us pay for them. That was the one thing I will say they did right. They had the battle passes right with the operations, but we didn't have to pay for them. So that was cool. I like that. If you guys want to follow that type of formula again, do it. But make it have a lot more characters, a lot more skins, and things that we can earn. And that makes us want to keep playing the game. So, like I said, load the game. Everybody, every character you can possibly think of. Throw in stranded characters for all I care. Just make it to where everybody has an option to play as their favorite character. Because that was really annoying with like Gears 4 and Gears 5, is that it lacked some classic characters right off the bat. Right when the game came out, you can play as Carmine. Are you serious? Carmine, one of the most favorite characters in the series, and you couldn't play as Carmine when the game first came out? No, that was silly. And I'm glad they added them later on with the later operations and stuff. But no, Carmine's going to be there from day one. Everyone should be able to play as Carmine. That's a fan favorite. That should make people happy. Maybe lock him behind a challenge or something. That's cool. but don't make it to where we have to wait forever to play as Carmine. Like, people love Carmine. And just stuff like that. So just essentially make all the characters, you don't have to do it right away, obviously. If you want to do passes and make it where they come, periodically, fine. But just load the game. Add characters. Add every freaking character you can think of to the game. And make it to where we can earn it by just playing the game. That we don't have to pay money. Please. Because that is what will make people happy. We want to be able to play as our favorite characters. And we want to be able to earn them. And we don't want to pay money. So yeah. So overall, guys, that is my discussion video today. I wanted to talk about 3 things that I feel like will make Gears of War E-Day's multiplayer amazing, fans happy, and have it have longevity to where people are playing this for years and years and years. These are the 3 things that I feel like would make a big difference and make it to where, this will be a hit with fans. That's all they got to do. This isn't hard. This is something that should have been part of it with Gears 4 and Gears 5. And that was the problem. They focused too much on this competitive scene that nobody cared about. And essentially, that's why the game died. So don't make that same mistake, Coalition, please. Sorry, guys. Kind of went on a little rant there. But anyways, if you guys liked this video, please definitely hit that like button and subscribe and tell me what you guys think about my ideas when it comes to Gears of War E-Day's multiplayer. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. And take it easy. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see my most recent Gears of War video, hit that link on the left. If you want to see any of my other content, hit that link on the right. Thanks for watching, guys.